Andrew Garfield fans, Spider-Man fans, something huge started spreading across social media this week. A viral post claimed that Andrew Garfield has signed a multi-picture deal with Marvel Studio. And the biggest part of the rumor says that his deal could include the Amazing Spider-Man 3. The post exploded online with fans immediately celebrating Andrew Garfield's return. But there is one big problem. The source behind the claim is not a reliable Marvel insider. So did Andrew Garfield really sign a new Marvel deal? Is the Amazing Spider-Man 3 actually happening? And why is Andrew himself suddenly talking about returning as Spider-Man again? Let's break down everything. The story started spreading on social media after a post claimed that Andrew Garfield has reportedly signed a multi-picture contract extension with Marvel Studio. According to the viral claim, the deal would not only bring Garfield back as a Spider-Man, but could also include his own standalone movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 3. And this is exactly the kind of news Spider-Man fans have been waiting years to hear. Because Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man story never really got a proper ending. He played Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012 and returned as The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014. Then Sony changed direction and moved forward with Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. For years, fans keep asking for Andrew's third movie. And that comes Spider-Man No Way Home. Andrew returned alongside Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire, and suddenly the conversation changed completely. Fans did not just want another cameo anymore, they want The Amazing Spider-Man 3. This is where we need to slow down. The viral claim comes from the account Chaos Crave, which has been identified in current reporting as a parody account. That means the post should not be treated as an official Marvel announcement or reliable confirmation for a contract. And as of now, there is no official announcement for Marvel Studios, Sony Picture, or Andrew Garfield confirming that he has signed a multiple picture Spider-Man deal. So if you are seeing headlines saying Andrew Garfield is officially back, be careful. This is not confirmed, the viral post itself is real, the fan reaction is real, the rumor is real, but the alleged contract, there is no official confirmation. And this distinction is extremely important. Now here is where the story gets much more interesting. Because even though the contract rumor appeared to be false, Andrew Garfield himself recently talked about returning as Spider-Man, and his answer was surprisingly interesting. In a recent interview with the playlist, Andrew was asked what would convince him to return for another Spider-Man project. And he did not simply say no. Instead, he said that it would need to be something very strange, very unconventional, and completely unexpected. He even suggested something nobody would normally expect from a Spider-Man movie, a road trip movie. Think about that for a second. Andrew Garfield is not announcing a new Spider-Man movie, but he is also not completely closing the door. He is basically saying, if you want me back, give me a reason to come back. And that is very different from an actor simply saying, I am done with Spider-Man. This is important because Andrew Peter Parker was given something very special in No Way Home. Remember what happened. Spider-Man has lost Gwen Stacy. He carried that pan for years. And when he entered the multiverse and met Tom Holland's Peter Parker, Andrew's character finally got a chance to help another version of Peter. The moment with MJ was especially emotional. Andrew's Peter saved MJ because he knew exactly what it felt like to fail someone he loved. That gave his character a kind of emotional closure. So if Marvel or Sony wanted to bring him back, they cannot simply repeat No Way Home. They need a story that actually gives Andrew's Peter something new to do. And that's exactly what Andrew seems to be saying. He does not want another Spider-Man movie just because fans want it. He wants something different, something unexpected, something that feels creatively exciting. Now we get the big question. Could The Amazing Spider-Man 3 still happen? Yes, theoretically. But right now, we cannot say that it has been officially green light. There is a huge difference between Andrew Garfield is open to returning and Andrew Garfield has signed a contract for The Amazing Spider-Man 3. The first one has recent evidence behind it. The second one does not. And that's why I would not call this as a confirmed movie yet. However, the fan demand is absolutely still there. Andrew return in No Way Home reminded audience how much they liked his version of Peter Parker. And even years later, people are still asking Sony for another movie. There is where things become really interesting. Andrew himself mentioned the idea of a road trip style Spider-Man story. And honestly, I think that could actually work. Imagine Andrew's Peter Parker traveling across America after everything he has been through. No giant multiverse war, no army of villains, no Avengers, just Peter Parker trying to figure out what his life means after losing Gwen. Maybe he meets another version of Spider Man. Maybe he discovers something about his own universe. Maybe he finally trying to build a normal life. That could make Andrew's next Spider-Man movie completely different from the previous films. And that's exactly the kind of thing he seems interested in. There is also another important point. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man already crossed into MCU through Spider-Man No Way Home. So Marvel has already established that his Peter Parker exists within the large multiverse. That means the door is technically open. But that does not mean Marvel has to use it immediately. And with Tom Holland continue as the main MCU Spider-Man, Marvel has to be careful. If Andrew returns, it needs to feel important. Otherwise, it could simply become another nostalgia cameo. And after No Way Home, expectations would be extremely high. Right now, the answer is there is no reliable confirmation that he did. The viral multi-picture contract claim comes from a parody source, and currently fact-check reporting says there has been no official confirmation from Marvel, Sony, or Garfield. But here is the part that Spider-Man fans should not ignore. Andrew Garfield is still open to the idea of returning. And this time, he has even explained what kind of Spider-Man story could bring him back. So while the viral contract story is not real confirmation, the door is not completely closed either. So don't believe the headlines saying Andrew Garfield officially signed a Marvel contract. At least not yet. There is no official confirmation, but don't completely dismiss Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man future either, because the actor himself recently said that he could imagine returning if Marvel or Sony give him something truly unexpected. And honestly, after everything Andrew's Peter Parker went through, maybe the best Spider-Man story for him is not another giant multiverse battle. Maybe it's something smaller, something emotional, something strange. Maybe even the crazy road trip Spider-Man movie Andrew mentioned. And if Sony ever announced the Amazing Spider-Man 3, you already know the internet is going to completely lose its mind. What do you think? Would you actually want Andrew Garfield to return for the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Or should No Way Home remain the perfect ending for his Spider-Man? Let me know in the comment. And if you want more breaking movie news, Marvel rumors, Spider-Man updates, and honest explanation without the fake hype, subscribe, screen time with Azhar. I will see you in the next one.